Ba-da-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Gotta work on that. Okay. Today I bring a game review. Marik emailed me and requested that I review this game, and I am very happy to oblige. So, and this is I think this is a great game to review because there's several uh, mistakes. I would call them mistakes that I think are really fun to think about, like decision making, like interesting decisions, like should I attack here or should I let my opponent live and take profit? Um, and then there's what's the Japanese term? Where you make shape, like you make good shape in an area where it looks like you don't have very good amount of stones, but you make a really good shape. Ah, I can't remember. But that situation comes up towards the end, um, and I think it's a good thing to take a look at. This is embarrassing. Okay, feel free to skip ahead like 30 seconds. I'm gonna quickly look up that Japanese term. It'll be on Sensei's library, right? Where you make good shape. I want to say it starts with an S because they all start with an S. Make good shape? No pages returned. Use Aji well? Japanese Go terms discussion. Japanese Go terms. I think it starts with an S, so I'm going to go there. Sabaki. That's it. Sabaki. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Anyway, so let's look at the game. So far, so good. We have a nice, full, complete greeting from Marik. Excellent. This is unusual, the one space high approach. Normally black plays it when black already has a position on the top side and wants to enlarge it. The fourth line approach is usually more for influence than for territory. And I don't know. Normally we see white just play this. This is, I don't know, something like this is like the normal way. Locally, it's pretty good for white because white gets really nice territory on the left side, and with this stone, still has decent prospects in the center, decent influence. So generally, this is a little bit better for white, which is why black would prefer to already have something in this upper right corner before playing the one space high approach. But anyway, this one is almost the same, except with the low one. Okay. Approach. Okay, it's all good. And this pincer, I like the pincer because I like two space high. I think this is a great move here because it the bottom side isn't very good for either player because there are these low stones. Both players have a low stone on the bottom, but the top, like the top right quadrant of the board, looks really well, really able to be developed because black already has these already has this position up here on the top, especially I don't know, it looks like a really good formation. Looks like black is going to create a big potential, so I like that one. And here, this one, this is really interesting. In the game, white played this peep, but I don't really like it because I think that, well, I'll show the game really quick, so we'll see what the result is. And then I will go back. Okay, and here Oh, I drew some squares. Here, white plays away. I don't really like this though, because I think black should just connect, and then probably white wants to play here to make a good shape, and black will get out. But I think this is better for. I think this is a good situation for black, especially because white can't play this A anymore. They attach 3/3 to make a base. So I feel like the white stones they have decent shape, but they're floating without a base, and they're already being attacked by this black B stone. Whereas for black has solid territory in the bottom right. This is, like 14 points for sure. And is going to be able to develop the upper right side while attacking this group. So I don't like this peep. I looked this up on the Joseki dictionary, and I don't want to brag, but this was also the move I thought of too. But this diagonal move for white looks like the proper way, like proper shape. So online, there were two options for black, either this one or this one. If black does this, white gets to block here, so the corner is really small for black. It's super cramped. Maybe black doesn't want to make these exchanges because it hurts the right side. So I think black wants to play somewhere else, probably complete this corner and make really good formation up here. But in general, I would say this is much better for white because black's corner is so weak and white gets really good influence. But in this case, maybe black could play this way because the upper right looks really good. This Q11 stone coordinates really well with the upper right position. So that was one possible way, or black can push, and it's this one, jump, and then white can counterattack. This one's not so good for white. It should be okay. It's just it'll turn into a fight, right? Black has this weak stone, white has this weak stone. It'll just turn into a fight. Okay. But this one in the game, black pushes, and white pushes. Cut here. There's a lot of reading here, but I think this is okay for white. If black just connects, then white gets the corner. Really nice corner. Black gets this influence, but it's not really that good. Because the bottom isn't very developable for black. White already has this strong position down here. Oops, gotta get back to the right place. Okay, so what if black just captures the stone? This is what I thought black should do. So white's gonna counter Atari, capture, and then to play this one, it looks way too much. Black can just cover simply like this, and I don't think these white stones are able to live. Looks much too good for black. So white should play this Atari, all these Ataris, and then come back and fix. And when I first look at this, I thought, oh, this looks like a pretty successful result for white. Black gets the corner completely alive, but white encloses it, and there's no weaknesses. It's all connected. So white's influence is pretty good. So I thought this was pretty good for white. I look at it a little bit more closely, and there's all these peeps, right? Which white can just connect, or maybe white wants to try to not go so easily and try to fight or something like this, but white's influence is good, but black has a lot of forcing moves, so I don't know. I can't say I'm probably not strong enough to evaluate this result, but I'd probably prefer white with this shape. Okay, but in the game, black exchanges this Atari first, which is a big mistake. Because after white connects, and then black plays this Atari, now we've got a ladder, right? So white just captures the two stones. So, yeah, great success for white. And then this, and this I think is white's first questionable move. I either want to see, I think this is okay. I don't think this is too slow to fix here. Black can go down. And then I think it's a decent exchange for white. Just because with no exchange, black can play this clamp at any time to connect the bottom right corner to the right side. White can't go down. So that means that this, this Q8 stone is a lot stronger than it looks because it always has this clamp. So that's why I don't think this is too slow. Black goes down, and then it's still the same where black can connect over here if necessary, but I don't know. Maybe it's a good exchange, maybe not, but I don't see the harm. White could even do this and split, and then force black to play something like this. And then later on, since black's groups are split, you know, something like this or this could be kind of severe. Whereas after this happens, there's no way at all to attack the right side because it's connected to the corner. But anyway, even I hope everyone's been enjoying the squares. Even if white doesn't play this, I feel pretty strongly that white should spend one move and capture these stones. And the reason is all these squares that I drew. So these two squares, these two black stones here, the triangle stones, are really important. They're cutting stones, and if black is ever able to run them out somehow, then white's bottom side is much weaker because these three stones are weak. And these 5 white stones are essentially captured. I don't think there's anything they can do. So the 2 stones are really important. And all these squares that I drew, if black plays a move at any one of them, it's a ladder breaker. And since these 2 black stones are so important, if black plays a move like this, white's going to, at least this early in the game, white's almost certainly going to respond to capture these 2 stones. So since there's so much potential disaster, so many ladder breakers, I think it's worth a move to play here. So let's pretend that black gets this, white gets this, then I think the game is pretty good for white. This influence over here is like infinite, right? It's completely alive, really strong, so it's really difficult for black to invade on the bottom. And the center should be easy for white to fight in with this really strong influence. So I think it's okay. I think it's not too slow to play this, but could be wrong. This I don't see a problem with just going into the corner, right? This is the normal pattern, right? What is it? This one? Something like this. Black gets a wall, white gets the corner. This is close enough. I don't see a problem with it because now these 2 black stones are kind of too close to thickness. but white gets the corner, which looks pretty good. And also, white gets some strength on the right side, which devalues black's right side a little bit. So I think just that would be fine. But I especially, I don't really like the knight's move because it invites black to play this knight's move. And then you don't really want to push, right? Because you just give black all this territory. So I can't really see a good follow-up for white. I still feel like white should go into the corner, but then I think this exchange is probably good for black because it helps black build the right side. Anyway. Oh, okay. So white plays A. I think this is the first very questionable move. It doesn't have a good relationship to white's B or white's C. So this is the game. Black plays this strong, slow move to split. And then after this, it's called the Bermuda Triangle, I think. We can see that A and B are completely split. Black's shape is really good. And the B stone is basically useless. It's almost like a... it's not quite a wasted move, but it's difficult to see what Aji it has. Like, it doesn't really have much potential use. It's just split. It's just split. I don't know. So rather than jumping all this way, I think it's okay to just jump. Black will play this, and then maybe still can go into the corner, or play another move like this, somehow make shape, or maybe the white group is alright enough that white can just come back here and finish the corner. But this one, okay, so it gets split, and then black spends a turn here. It's pretty big. Now this right side is all cache territory, and black ends up with good shape on the top. So if we go back to here, I feel like if white captures, then the opening so far is pretty good for white with this really strong group in the bottom right. Extra territory up in the upper left, and still can develop this left side and bottom side. But I feel like after... Oh, whoops, I went too far. Spoiler alert! Up to here, I feel like black recovered. Black gets a lot of territory, finishes the shape up here. Pretty good. Okay, so this one, very big, very big. And here, I don't understand. White went down, but I don't like it. I think this is, I think N2 is terrible. It's like it's almost worse than passing, because it invites white to fix this for free. White already wanted to play this to capture the 2 stones, eliminate all the ladder breaker Aji and so on. And this one, it says, oh, please, white, I would prefer if you would eliminate all this Aji right now. So I don't really understand. I think white should capture immediately. Then what is black's plan? If black wants to connect underneath, alright, black gets like 2-3 points maybe, and white's shape just got way stronger. No good for black. Or is black going to try this? I don't know. White is just going to keep pressing black down. Black can always come back and connect, but I don't know. Just play this, and the center looks really good for white all of a sudden. So, don't really understand N2. But white goes down. Okay, I checked it, and I think it still works, but it's a close call. This is I think L4 is the next questionable move. I don't see a reason to not play L3 and keep pressing black down. We get into interesting variations with push and cut. This one is not white can't play L2 immediately because black can bring the stone out now. Aha, this Atari. The ladder is broken. So black is going to be able to save this, destroy this. Pretty good result for black. So what white can do is play this Atari first, and if black extends, then go down. And now if black tries to run the stone out, oh, the ladder works again. Okay, so white is okay. But black plays this attach, Atari, and then extend, and basically black treats this as a sacrifice, give away like 6-7 points, and it's like a free invasion. Seems like this black group is definitely strong enough to live. So I feel like it's too easy for black to settle in white's area like this. But this one, okay. And this is pretty severe attack, but I like it because black's group is very low, definitely doesn't have 2 eyes, so good to attack it very severely. But unfortunately, white always feels like has to come back and play this ladder breaker to make sure that these 2 stones can't run away. White would probably prefer to play this and keep giving chase like this. And then this left side gets enormous. But it's not really a good idea because black is going to be able to bring these stones out, and then it's chaos. White's group is in big trouble. So white has to play a move over here to make sure the ladder is still good, but then black can get out. And then here's a really interesting... Oh, not here. Okay, so this Atari, white captures. Here's a really interesting choice. And I don't want to give my judgment, but I just want to... Probably this is a situation where you're playing, you think, oh, Atari, so I capture, right? Well, maybe not. Maybe we can think about this a little bit differently. What if white plays this instead? Okay, black gets to capture. Now all of a sudden this black group was weak, but now it's connected, so it's not weak anymore. White plays this. Okay, so you let white connect, but instead you completely surround it. I don't know. You give away all this, but you make really good influence everywhere else. Is it worth it? I don't know. Maybe we should get out our calculator and check. I don't know. How many points did black make with all this? Versus how many points is white going to be able to make with this influence? I don't know. Alright. Just a fun thing to think about. Because maybe... I feel like this, like I said before, this is the sort of thing where in the game you just go, oh, of course, I can't let this weak group connect. So you capture. But there's another option. And I don't know if it's good or not. Maybe you can get more if you keep the group weak, like this, so it doesn't have 2 eyes and keep attacking. Or maybe you could play this way. Just different ways to think about it. Okay, so white captured. And peep, okay, jump. This one, I think that this descent was not really the best here. Black's move, this looks like a thank you move. White should be really happy to play here. Now, it doesn't really matter if black goes down. Because there's no big trouble, right? Oops. Not that. It's like Atari, but it doesn't really lead to anything. So black can reduce a couple points here, but overall white's shape is really strong. but in the game, this one stone is weak. So black gets an Atari and then Peep. Basically, it allows this black's group, this A group, to get a little bit stronger for free. So small thing, but this, what is the actual exchange? It's this for this. It ends up being this Atari, so white connects here. Basically, black gets a little bit stronger, and white only gets this B, which is only a couple more points. Okay, so it looks like these groups are going to be connected, but black says not so fast. This one, okay. I like this because it indirectly fixes this push and cut here, and it puts pressure on this group. Black says, oh, I don't feel any pressure on my bottom group. I'm going to keep splitting you. So when I saw this, I thought, oh, alright, so white should play here immediately, right? And I think, if you're not sure at home, then load this up, follow along, see if you can live with this group. I think black is dead. Black has this, so one eye and Sente on the bottom, but how to make a second eye? It's completely surrounded, right? I think it's impossible, but if I'm wrong, please prove me wrong. So if I were white, I would play this and say, oh, this group up here, you're going to have to kill it because I already killed your group, so catch me if you can. So I want to see this move. But white decides to keep playing locally. Okay, so this Atari here, okay, looks like it's making good shape. And black plays this move to poke out the eye shape. And this is... so first I want to show what happened in the game, because this is a really crucial juncture where if white handles this, if white makes SABAKI, yes, I remember the word, so the I don't even know how long it was. How long did it take me to look that up at the beginning? Like 5 minutes? It's worth it. SABAKI. White can make SABAKI here very well. But first let's look at what happens. So white defend, black push, white defends, black peeps, white defends, and then black comes back here and fixes. So white, okay, black attacks, white makes one eye, black attacks, white defends, black peeps, white defends, and then black gets to come back over here and attack this white group. Black gets to help black's weak group while attacking this white group, which is, it's starting to get a little weak, right? Because this is a false eye at A. And it looks like white should have one eye here for sure, but maybe not more than that. So this group isn't entirely alive yet. Okay, so let's go back at the crucial point. So the way the sequence went up here, it was black attacks, white defend, black attack, white defend, black attack, white defend, black attack, white makes an eye. Okay, black attacks, white defends, black attacks, white defends, and then black has to play over here, right? So what's the problem with this? Well, no one wants to play a game where they're just defending, right? This is the moment where you should think, where are my opponent's weaknesses, and how can I exploit them, right? It's the classic proverb, the best defense is a good offense. So I really like this move. And I don't really know, I couldn't find, I checked this for about 5-10 minutes and I couldn't find a really good way for black to deal with it. It seems like there's two choices, right? This tiger mouth or this push. So if black plays this, then okay, this Atari or this, it's right out, right? Because white plays this, and then this group should be completely fine, right? White could play one more move if white's really scared of dying, but probably after black, after black loses this one stone, looks alive, so then white can come back here. So it looks like black has to play this, right? To keep the attack alive. So then white can capture this stone. And all this. Okay, so white captures the stone in Sente, makes some eye shape, could play here to keep trying to get out. Let's remember that these two black stones are not extremely strong yet. Okay, so let's say this one. White can play Atari. Black captures again. Atari, Atari, and come back here. Okay, so black needs to cut here to make sure that these stones don't get cut off. And then maybe this could give up the one stone by squeezing it like this and come back and fix. Alright, so this is a pretty good result, right? Black gets some territory, extra territory up here. This is all solid now, so black's probably going to make like 15 points up here. But white connects out. This black group is super weak. It's only got one eye. It's got to keep struggling to live. And white is basically able to connect the two weak groups here. So that's one way it could go, right? There's infinite number of variations here, so it's one of the complicated scenarios. But after this, it seems like Atari, okay. It seems like black has to do something to connect. White should capture. This one threatens a double Atari here. So I guess black could just do this, but it's not really that much better, is it? White can still play this, and I guess it is, well, it's definitely better for black than the other one. I guess could try this, but still should be able to get out, and yeah, better than the game. If you compare this shape where white gets out, destroys all this, black still has two weak groups. Compare with the actual game where white just barely makes two eyes and black completely surrounded it and made a bunch of territory. No question, it's better. Okay. So let's look at the other one. What if black pushes here? Okay, so we want to block, and it seems like black has to cut, right? So Atari, give the stone away, and then come back and connect. Black would really like to play this to make sure that white can't live in the corner, but then it looks a little bit difficult, right? Hane, Atari, and here? And it looks like, oh, this black group actually died. Whoa, how'd that happen? But there's not really that much else to do. This one, then Atari, capture. So maybe this is going to turn out like the other one. After this and this, could fight a ko here, right? But it's a very big ko. I think white could ignore almost anything, because if white wins, white kills the whole thing. Anyway, I don't want to go get bogged down too much in these variations. There's a lot of different variations. Okay, so this one seems like black should come back and play this. Then white could push out still. White could do this, make an eye and sente in the corner. Basically, instead of white being the one attacked, black is the one being attacked. All comes down to this. So the next time you feel pressure from your opponent during a game, think, oh, don't think, oh, how can I defend against this? Think, oh, how can I counterattack? How can I make it so my opponent is the one who's under attack? And then you get the profit as your opponent squirms. Try to turn the tables. Aha. Okay, so that was the other big thing that I wanted to talk about in this game. After this, so white plays this Hane. The rest of the game is not quite as interesting. This Hane turns out to be a pretty big overplay. Black cuts, and then all of a sudden this white group is completely surrounded and has to make two eyes. I think maybe this is a way to start to make the eye space bigger. If black answers, then this looks pretty good, right? Maybe? Maybe not. Black plays here immediately. Oh no, I think it's okay. This. Yeah, there's no problem. Okay. I think it's okay. So I think white should try to make the eye space bigger here. There's a lot of variations here. What if black plays this immediately? I don't know. A lot of different things to look at, but this is the kind of situation where it's really useful to break out your Goban at home and go through a bunch of different variations and see if you can find a way to make it live. Good Tsumego practice, life and death practice. But unfortunately, this move looks really nice, but after here, captures. So there's white makes one eye, but then this push. And here, this threatens to cut. So white resigned here because if white connects, then black plays this, and still only one eye. This one. So it's a pity. Pity. I think I don't want to spend too much time on it because I think this is a situation better for independent study than like teaching. But I think what I want to express is that getting into the situation where you have to struggle to make two eyes like this, we should try to avoid it, right? And the way to avoid it is by taking advantage of our opponent's weaknesses instead of just defending. Even in the game, so I think white should play here, and then I think white's still okay because, these two stones are still weak for black. So I still think the game is okay. Black has to struggle with this group to make a second eye, although it should be fairly easy now to make a second eye. But white has this corner, this lived. Black made a lot of territory around here though, and the top is pretty good too. I don't know, difficult to say, but still playable. But after this, no chance. I think I just lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the best defense is a good offense. So, aha. Give your opponent something to think about. Or even, I think this is fine, right? Black can push through. If black does push through, then this attach. I don't know if white will be able to save everything, but white should definitely be able to live at least a little bit up top. And then this is, like 4,000 points or something? 5,000? It's too much. I don't have enough fingers to count. Okay. So the main points of this game, to go back over it quickly, This one, it's unusual, but okay. I really like this pincer because it coordinates well with black's. It makes a nice framework for black on the upper side. This one, this is unusual, and I think this is the proper shape, calm way to keep your stones connected and keep your opponent split. Two principles in one. This one, I don't know. This Atari, ooh, not good, because now this ladder is good. Could just capture. Or, well, there's no harm in playing, oops. I'm losing all my keys. Okay. There's no harm in playing this, but then I think capturing's alright. Make a really strong influence for the center and for the bottom. And black only made, what, like 12, 13 points in the corner, so looks pretty good. Definitely a good result for white. But this one, invasion, I think it's too early. It's definitely a big point, but I think the Aji with these two stones it's too severe, so I think it's worth it for white to spend one move to capture. Okay. This one, I don't really understand this. I think should go into the corner. I think this one is not so good because it gives black an ideal follow-up to start making territory on the right side. And then this one, this Q11 is the first very questionable move by white. It has no connection to either the B group or the C group. So after black splits, it's basically a complete waste. Okay. And then this one, I don't understand. I don't understand this move. I think white should just capture immediately, and then white's just really happy. It's like, oh, thank you, black. Now I got to fix my one big worry for free. So thank you very much. But to go down, I don't. And this one especially, it's one line difference, but the effect is very, very, very apparent. Where this way, black has to crawl on the second line, and white makes really big influence. So terrific for white. But in the game after this, black can jump a little bit farther and lift up off the second line. Still, the group is in very bad shape. White has a severe attack, but it's better than it. Black gets off a little bit easy. Black's shape is a little bit better than it should have been. This is a move where we see the problem of not capturing these earlier. The ladder, all those squares, remember? They're still there, so white plays a move to make sure that these stones are captured. Okay. And then here, just something to think about. Play this one. If black captures, this one. Black, it's a really big reduction, but white now has it completely surrounded. Got everything else. I don't know. The jury's out. We don't know if this is a good result or not, but something, I think it's pretty interesting to think about. Okay, here. This one, this is another thank you move, so this one, now white shape is strong. There's no weakness here around the G5 area, so nothing to worry about. This one, okay, okay. I like this move a lot for white. Black ignores it. I really think black should play here right away. Black has to help this group. But black ignores, so okay, capture this group. And then as long as you live somehow with this group, easy win for white. But keeps playing. Okay. We'll keep the fight alive. This one. And then here's the critical moment. You feel weak, but actually your opponent is weak too. So this one is one place I'm looking at. The other place I would want to keep in mind is this attach in the corner, because it still seems like white should be able to make a base in the upper right corner thanks to this attachment. So still a couple weaknesses in your opponent's shape that you should keep in mind and try to exploit them to make good SABAKI. Aha. But white just defend, 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 and then after this cut, game is very difficult. Okay, I think that about wraps it up for this game. I hope Marik, or Marik, difficult to pronounce. I hope you learned something from this. If anyone has any questions or comments, I'm sure, as always, that I missed plenty, as I always do. Please leave a comment or a question on YouTube. I would love to hear from you. And if you're watching this and think, oh, this wasn't so bad, I could tolerate it, I would like one of my games reviewed, then feel free to contact me on YouTube. You can leave a comment, send me a message, or send me an email. I'd be happy to do a review of your game. So, thanks for watching.